to be here with you guys this evening. Hopefully, we're gonna have a great webinar about the use of gestures in our classes, in online classes, and how to manage online classes in a better way. Now, for the past 12 years, I have taught ESL, EFL, and ESL in different countries in the world. Some of my classes online, and of course, face to face. Currently, I'm working at a university here in Ecuador. This is where I originally come from. I originally come from Iran. If you don't know where it is, it's in Middle East. It's kind of in the middle of the world. These are the countries I have visited so far and lived, enjoyed, learned, taught English body language in Turkey, Brazil, Dominican Republic, Bolivia, and now currently I live in Ecuador. Now, what we are going to talk about this evening is about gestures and transmitting positive energy in online classes. How we can transmit positive energy in online classes is extremely important in specifying the quality of our class. Now, I want to do an activity with everyone. So I want to ask everyone to turn on their cameras and to find someone next to you. Let's see, everyone. If you can turn on your cameras so that I can see these happy faces this evening at 8 o'clock p.m. here in Ecuador and in Lima, please do that. Turn on your cameras. Let's see each other. Let's open the lines of communication with each other, starting Claudia. I want you to find someone next to you, around you, in your house, your mom, dad, brother, sister, to have this body language with them. If you can hear me, if you can see me, just raise a hand, show the reaction, or turn on your cameras, please. Let's see each other. Let's open the lines of communication. It's a little bit difficult these days, specifically considering the online format of um, classes. If you can turn on your cameras, that's going to be really amazing so that we can see each other. If you guys can see, all right. If not, no worries, no matter. Just do this gesture, have this gesture. Connect your thumb with your, let's do the speaker, connect your thumb to your pointing finger, to this finger. Connect it and talk to someone in your house next to you, your dad, mom, anyone whom you feel comfortable with. Just talk to them like that. Like, let's say, hey, how are you? Let's do it. Let's do this uh, in the house with someone. If I can see that, that's going to be really, thank you. Thank you. The first brave person. Hi, it's great to see you, Rosa. If you can do this, let's try having this gesture, talking to somebody. Thank you, one by one. That's amazing. It's great to see you guys. It's great to see you. Thank you. That's amazing. It's great to see you. It's lovely to see you guys. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. If you can have this gesture, fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. If you can have this gesture, talking to somebody in the house who is in the house with you, like this. If you can have this gesture, that's just talking like this. Hey, how are you? Let's have this gesture. Let's have it. If you can show it to me, fantastic. If you think you are talking fast, if you're talking rapidly, this gesture can help us slow down a little bit. So, how gestures are effective in communication and in communicating more positively is the topic of our webinar this evening. We want to discuss and talk together about that. There is power in our hands that we have never been taught to use. There's power in our hands. And the more we show our thumbs when we are talking to somebody, let's imagine I'm talking to somebody like this, if I can, okay, like this, keeping my thumb up in a way that everybody sees that, I'm conveying more positive energy and self confidence to my audience. So let's imagine I have an online class and I want to talk to my students using my hands. And tonight we are going to practice using our hands better in online classes. Let's imagine we want to use our hands, keeping our thumb out. We don't want to hide them. We want to show them to the audience. So show it to the camera, please, if you can, so that we practice it together. If you can show it to the camera, that's going to be really fantastic. I would appreciate it if you can show it to the camera like this, showing your hands, talking to the audience, showing your thumb, not trying to hide your thumb. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's do it. Let's talk to the camera. Let's practice talking to the audience using our thumb like this. Awesome. 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 That's amazing. That's amazing. All right. So we convey power using our thumb, using our hands and thumb, the positioning like this to the audience. And this power that we convey to the audience understands it. Our students, the person that we are talking to, anyone that audience can be. We want to be very careful about the positioning of our hands. We don't want to have negative gestures. This would be considered as a negative gesture. Why? Because usually when people have this gesture, like the next slide, you are conveying power in negative way. You're showing to the audience, hey, I'm in power, I choose, you have to obey me, you have to listen to me, kind of like dictatorship. So we want to avoid that. We want to avoid having this gesture. The next part, I want to show you a video of a person. We probably know this person. Pointing fingers. We want to avoid this too. This is extremely counterproductive when we talk to the audience and pointing finger. Hey, you, and you. You have to listen to me. That would be counterproductive. That would be negative. So we don't want to do that. Let's watch this short video. It's just a 1 minute video.
In terms of Russia, this is a president trying to get two of our most serious competitors and not allies to decide this election, decide who he runs against. This guy, like all bullies, is a coward. He does not want to run against me. That's what this is about.
Excuse me, there's a photo of you golfing with your son Hunter and his business partner Devin Archer. Do you stand by your statement that you did not discuss any of your son's overseas business?
Yes, I stand by that statement.
How was your role as vice president in charge of policy in Ukraine, your son's job in Ukraine? How is that not a conflict of interest?
It's not a conflict of interest. There's been no indication of any conflict of interest from Ukraine or anywhere else. Period. I'm not gonna respond to that. Let's focus on the problem. Focus on this man, what he's doing, that no president has ever done. No president. I have no idea whether.
Okay, so what we want to do is avoiding these gestures. Why? Because the way we position our hands specify, to the most part, how we are respecting to the audience. So the more you point your finger to the audience, you, the more you are showing yourself to be a dictator. That would be extremely negative. So we don't want to do that. We want to avoid having this gesture in online classes. So far we learned not to have this positioning in talking to the audience. That would be negative. Hey, you have to listen to me. that would be negative, that would be conveying negative power to the audience, so much directive, and we don't want to point at the audience, at our students in online format. Going to the next section, uh, we want to know about the difference between gesture and posture. In the chat box, I want everyone to write, please, to tell me the difference between gesture and posture in the chat box. I would love to see your opinion in the chat box regarding the difference between gesture and posture. What would be the difference between gesture and posture? Please, if we can have it in the chat box. Is the chat box open? Yeah, I think the chat box is open. You can write your opinion in the chat box. Okay, now you can chat in the chat box. Please, in the chat box, write what would be the difference between gesture and posture. What would be what is the difference in your mind about gesture and posture? What's the difference? What is the difference? In the chat box, please. What's the difference? This is the question. What is the difference about gesture and posture? Can you guys chat in the chat box? Just show me a thumbs up to make sure everyone, oops, right now. I think you can chat right now. Okay, just show me a thumbs up if you can chat. All right, we have something here. Okay, yes, you can chat. What would be the difference between gesture and posture? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of gesture and posture? What would be the difference? Okay, what would be the difference between gesture and posture? In the chat box. If Claudia can read the comments in the chat box. Claudia, are you here? Can you read the comments in the chat box, please? I don't know if Claudia is here.
Yes, I am here. I'm sorry. I was admitting some people who was here. Yes, Rosana mentioned gesture with the face. Marlena Reyes mentioned gesture is face and posture, whole body. Janet Villanueva mentioned gesture is when you use movements and posture is when you share the position of your body. Vanessa mentioned gestures involve your body. Miss Rosana mentioned posture with our body. Maribel mentioned posture express attitude, and I think so. Guillermo mentioned gesture is more move, body language. So we have a lot of comments here. Thank you so much.
Nice, 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 nice. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. There's going to be a link in the chat box, guys. I want to send you a link in the chat box. I want you to click on this link and write the same thing that you wrote for me in this app. It's called WooClap. Just click on the link that I shared with you or go to wooclap.com/ and that's the code, and write your opinion on this platform. What would be the difference between gesture and posture? What's the difference? What would be the difference? Let's see if you can get on this platform. Just show me a thumbs up if you just could get on this platform. Just a thumbs up. What's the difference between gesture and posture on this platform? Or you can unmute yourselves or write in the chat box what would be the difference between gesture and posture. You can also scan this to be able to write your answers here. You can scan this QR code on your phone. Let me show it to you again. You can scan this on QR code. All right. The difference between gesture and posture. Let's see. Could you guys get to this platform? Just show me a thumbs up if you could. Yeah. You have something in the chat box. Thank you. Sure. Gesture, face, posture, body. Okay, interesting. Chris, very nice. That's interesting. All right. Seems like, all right, it's fine. It's fine. Going back to the slide. So gestures could be intentional or unintentional. Let's say the way I nod. You are asking me a question and I'm like, okay, all right. That would be a gesture. Or shoulder shrugging. Let's practice doing that. Please do it at home. If your cameras are off at home, please do it with somebody. If not, just show it to the camera. It's fine. We're all hopefully friends here. Shoulder shrugging. I don't know what has happened. Where were you last night? Nowhere. I was here. These would be gestures that can be intentional or unintentional. So the way we choose to show our thoughts in our body would be gestures. Posture, hello everyone, welcome. Posture are mostly unintentional. So the way I sit, the way I stand would be my posture. So which one do we want to deal with? Gestures. Can we change them? Absolutely. Can we take control of our gestures? Absolutely. Our posture is more rooted in our subconscious mind. They are coming from our habits and they are very difficult to control. So it takes a long time to control our postures. What we want to be aware of is negative gestures. So when I see as a specialist, when I see a person having negative gestures, let's say hand on face in online classes like this, keeping their hands on face, I would absolutely revise, check the methodology that I have. I would absolutely check if I'm doing my job correctly. I would absolutely change the conversation, change what's going on, change the mood, ask a different question, because I see that my student has negative gesture and I don't want this in my student. I want my students to have positive gestures, positive body language, to feel comfortable, not feeling like, oh my God, what's going on again? So I want to avoid these in my classes. What not to do to have our students getting negative gestures? Change the way you talk to your students. I see many online classes that teachers are forcing students to turn on your camera. I said, turn on your camera. You can't keep your camera off. So they wouldn't react, neither react nor respond to that message, because that's not friendly, that's aggressive. Specifically considering the fact that everybody in the world, almost everybody, is kind of imprisoned at home, in quarantine, or not being able to go out, using masks. So people are kind of aggressive, passive aggressive specifically. So we want to change the way we talk to our audience, we talk to our students. If we are using words that are a little bit unfriendly, we want to try to change them. We want to try to use better words. Can you please turn on your camera so that I can see you, so that I can open up the lines of communication with you? So we want to be very careful with that too. There are some comments in the chat box too. Claudia, please let me know if anyone has questions or something interesting so that we can share it and we can have more interactive webinar.
Yes, some teachers mention in this case, right? And they don't have any question, but please let me tell them. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'm sorry to interrupt it, Mansoor. Thank you so much for being here. I know that at the beginning of this lesson, we have some people maybe who is not, we don't know who are them, but thank you so much for being here. We are really glad. Don't worry, because we are trying to protect your security. I am checking and controlling the chat and controlling the people who is admitted. So don't worry. So please participate. Don't worry about that. Mansoor in this case has, as you have seen, he has a lot of ideas. He has a lot of tips. He can share with us a lot of his knowledge. So please, if you have any question, let me know and I will share that question with our international guest. Thank you. There is no question, my dear.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, new experience, right? The world of technology is giving us new experiences. Thank you. So we want to be very careful not to make our audience like having negative gestures, saying like, oh my God, what's going on? Oh my God, again, this guy in online format. We want to make sure the conversation that we choose, the words that we choose are intellectually chosen. We want to be very careful about that. I am just thinking, this is what I guess, this is what I get 99% of the times. Like when I see people, when I talk to my students in body language courses, we have around 50 gestures, 50, let's say, movements of our hands on our face. Most of them object and say, hey, I'm like this because I'm just thinking. I'm like this because what are you doing? I'm just thinking. There's no thinking. Among these 50 gestures that we have of using our hands on our face, only one of them shows thinking. And as we can see in this picture, there's also another picture too. So it's very, very rare that someone puts their hands on their face, and that means I'm just thinking. No, you're not just thinking. That means something. That can mean either you are choosing between the options, or you are interested in something, or you are evaluating. If you're a man, you usually do this. Okay, all right. We've seen people doing this. All right. Or probably negative. The negative side would be a skepticism. Probably that person is a skeptical. Or boredom, as we saw in the previous slide. Exactly, Edith. Gestures show person's emotions. We show our emotions through gestures. Exactly. Gestures and body language for teaching English, the students feel motivated. Exactly, Elizabeth. Exactly. Thank you for your comment. Lovely. So we want to be careful about the gestures. Or if the gesture shows deception, or is the person suspicious? Usually, the gestures, movements of our hands on our face are translated negatively. They're showing negative feelings. Because going back to the time that we were a little kid, we started to cry, we were a little baby, we call these body languages pacifiers. We used to put our hands on our face somewhere to keep ourselves calm, to pacify ourselves. And this is where it comes from, where they come from primarily. This man and his wife, Alan and Barbara Pease, they wrote the first definitive book of body language in around 1970. And for the first time, scientifically, they showed that our body languages, gestures, postures, facial expressions, the zone that we have, eye contact, they are all rooted in science. Gestures. We want to invite people. We want to have positive, in this section, we want to see some positive gestures. We want to be inviting. And if you can see in this photo, if you can pay attention, the gesture that this person, this teacher or student probably has is inviting. So we want to always invite people by having the right gesture to us, inviting more people to the meeting, inviting more people to the topic, to the discussion. Now, there's a technique, basketball technique. I call this basketball technique. If you can, again, kindly turn on your cameras so that we can practice this together. Don't worry about anything. Claudia is taking care of everything. If you can turn on your cameras and imagine a basketball in front of you. Imagine you're keeping a basketball like this, in this size. And you talk to your audience like this. Good, amazing. Exactly, Elizabeth. A basketball. Imagine that you are keeping a basketball in front of you. And we want to have this gesture as a dominant gesture in front of us. We don't want to be like this. We don't want to point fingers at the audience. That would be very negative. We don't want to keep our hands like this. We want to imagine a basketball in front of us. Why do I say that? Because this is assertive. It's giving power. But we can change this to this. So using one hand, yes, this is true. This is what we are learning, and this is what we have to do for the next session. This was an example. So exactly. Imagining a basketball would give your audience assurance and feeling like, okay, my teacher is not a dictator, is not dictating things to me, telling things to me to do. My teacher is welcoming. He's trying to be confident at the same time, keeping his power. He's trying to be confident, and he's trying to be as friendly as possible. So we want to, I call this basketball technique. When you are recording videos, do this after this webinar ends. Do this with yourself. When this webinar ends, imagine, record a video of yourself talking about something, and keep imagining a basketball in front of you. Hey guys, today I'm going to talk about this. Is exactly, Catherine, exactly. That would be very good. That would be a very positive body language too. That would be, I'm in power. I'm trying to maintain my self-confidence and still be in power and still communicate with everybody. So I call this a basketball technique. Eyes, our eyes. We have heard of this sentence. You can lie, but your eyes can never lie. What do our eyes tell about our personality? What do they tell? Do they tell positive things about us? Do they tell negative things about us? To which direction are we looking at? In my body language courses, when I teach my students how to position their eyes when they want to present or talk to the audience, I first ask them if they are right-handed or left-handed. Because if you are left-handed, everything would be vice versa. We want to keep this in mind as a tip. So if you're looking into any direction opposite of your heart, let's say this is my heart on the left side of my body, and I'm looking to the opposite side, to the right, or to the right and to the top right, I would be constructing, as you can see here, constructing, or in negative words, lying. Do you want to know if your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, your husband, wife are telling you the truth, or they are trying to construct? Look at the direction of their eyes, the position of their eyes. To which direction are they looking? And again, we cannot judge. Body language, I always say, is like an alphabet. Let's imagine this book. This is my favorite book, Emotional Intelligence. Let's imagine this book. I don't know if you can see it or not. A dictionary. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay. Claudia, if you can mute the, all right. Okay, I think I'm mute. Okay, let's imagine a dictionary. Body language would be like a dictionary. We have to take a look at all the alphabets at the same time. We have to take a look at the whole picture. So if we learn something here, doesn't necessarily mean that that person is telling the truth or telling a lie, or that person is uncomfortable or comfortable. So moving on, we don't want to talk about it more. I'm sure all of you have taken a picture of this section. This is very, I like this. It's always valuable, and I always try to pay attention to the direction, to the position of the eyes of the audience. Environment. Do you live in a cold place? Do you live in a warm place? Like I used to live in Bolivia, in La Paz, where the weather was continuously it was cold. It was always cold. Like dear, one of my friends from Bolivia, Catherine, she's here. She knows that, and she can say, she can prove this information. She can tell us that this is true. It's always cold, and necessarily, essentially, in cold situations, our body language would turn negative. So it would be negative in cold situations. If the situation is cold, body language turns to a negative form. Environment is very effective in body language. Cold places make your body language negative, like ticking, like the way you touch your face if it's cold, or the way you touch your arms, or the way you touch your own body.
No es así. El respeto se gana. ¿De acuerdo a quién?
Claudia, thank you. Thank you so much. So negative energy is 13 times more powerful than the positive energy. Why do we say body language is extremely important? Because you release it through your body and it goes back to your body. A negative body language can be released. Your audience sees the negative body language like this. I keep my arms on my chest. I'm comfortable. Yes, you're comfortable and negative, unparticipative, and defensive at the same time. And you can be extremely comfortable. So the negative body language can affect the audience and it can go back to our body. So we want to be very careful about that. The next part, this person, Joe Navarro. He's originally from Cuba. He lives in the States. He's an ex-FBI agent. He worked with the FBI to find criminals, using body language to see if they're lying, to see if they're telling the truth, finding people who robbed or killed people. He's one of the pioneers after Alan Pease. He's one of the pioneers in this beautiful, I call this beautiful field of study. These are some of the books that Alan Pease has written so far. His most amazing book, What Everybody is Saying. This is his most amazing books. If you want to take a picture of this slide, please go ahead and take a picture and search these books. These are really amazing books. The second book is The Dictionary of Body Language, again by Joe Navarro. And then the other two books are actually also very amazing. NLP, we all have cell phones. We can have iPhone, Android. In each cell phone, mobile, there's a programming. In iPhone, the programming is called iOS. In an Android, the programming, in Samsung, let's say the programming is called Android. That's the programming. We have a programming in us too. What's that programming about? Neuro-linguistic programming. Based on this programming, we have a thinking process, we have language, words, and of course our behavior. So what we want to do is we want to scan this QR code. Please scan this QR code. if you have a QR code reader. If not, I'm going to share a link with you in the chat box. I think the chat box is open. Yeah, the chat box is open. There's a link in the chat box. Please click on this link in the chat box. We want to answer to one question. There's a link in the chat box. I'm gonna copy the link again for the people who are just joining. There's a link in the chat box. Please click on it. All right, and there's a question. And present. All right, there we go. There is a link in the chat box. There is a question. If you are using iPhone, just use the camera app of your phone, scan this QR code, and it gets you to this question. How do you communicate mostly? Using, do you use words most of the time to communicate? Do you use body language most of the time to communicate? Do you use tonality most of the time to communicate? Please write it. Okay, 4%, 3, 2.5. Okay, very nice, very nice. That's amazing. Does everybody have the code, the link in the chat box? Just show me a thumbs up, show me a reaction. Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, thank you. Just show me, thank you, Guillermo, right? Am I pronouncing your name correct? Lovely. I love your name. I like your name. Very good. Thank you, Merlin. Thank you. Thank you. Just show me a thumbs up or a reaction for me. Thank you, Rosanna. Thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right. So let's see where it takes us. Yes, Doris. Doris, you have your hand up. Do you have a question, or are you just telling us that you have the link and you are here? All right, in the chat box, I think. Okay, done. I got a heart. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Good. So I'm gonna send you guys the link once again for the people who didn't get the link. So 4.1, 4.1, 3.5. Which one of these let's say aspects of communication do we use to communicate with our audience, with our students? Please participate. Yes, exactly. Please participate. Do we use words most of the time? Do we use body language most of the time? Do we use tonality? What is tonality? Low pitch, high pitch, low pitch, high pitch, volume. Do we shout or do we talk through our diaphragm? 3.7, 4.1, body language is the winner here. Okay, you can, if you can't using body language, thank you, Elizabeth, thank you, using body language. You can write it in the chat box too, there is no problem. If you cannot access the code, you can write it in the chat box too, there's no problem. So we see body language is the winner here, and that's the reality. That is the reality. Most of our communication is non-verbal, guys. It is non-verbal. We communicate with everybody non-verbally, primarily. Primarily, we communicate non-verbally. 7% of our communication happens through the words that we choose. Are they not important? Not at all. They are absolutely extremely important. But what's more important is first, tonality. Do we talk like and then finally the audience is like taking a nap? Or do we use high pitch, low pitch, different volume, sometimes raising our voice, not shouting, not shouting. I would say talking with emotions, sometimes raising our voice, sometimes talking to the audience like, hey, what do you think about it? Yes, do this. Change your volume, tonality. And then visual or body language. 55% of our communication is done through body language. Our bodies talk. The thing is, the gestures happen super fast that we cannot get the hang of like, hey, But what happened? What did that guy do? I didn't pay attention. Of course, it needs a course, it needs studying, and a lot of other stuff. I want everybody to draw. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to close your eyes, everybody. Try to do that. Try. Let's imagine we're in a class. Let's imagine we're in a class. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Pick up a piece of paper first, and a pen or a paper or a pencil, and then in one line, try to draw first one square. Let's close our eyes. I'm gonna close my eyes too. Close it. Let's close our eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. If your camera is off, don't worry. Just close your eyes. It's an activity. It's so cool. I promise. Close your eyes and pick up a pen or a pencil and a paper and draw first one square. Draw a square. 2. Next, draw a triangular. Draw a triangular on that piece of paper. Next, draw a capital S, the letter S in the alphabet. S. Next, draw a circle. A circle. And then finally, draw a rectangular. One rectangular. Good. Is it done? Just show me a thumbs up in the reactions. In the reactions, show me a thumbs up. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Guillermo. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Lovely. Thank you, Maribel. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Naz. Amazing. Now, so what do they say about our personality? We learned NLP, the programming. These are the shapes of the neurons in our brain based on our personality type. Let's imagine if the shape that you have, if all the shapes that you have drawn, all of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are 5 shapes. Most of them, or all of them, resemble, they look like one of them in particular. Let's say you wanted to draw, I am like that. You wanted to draw a square, but when you look at it, you see that, oh my God, it looks like a triangular. You wanted to draw a circle, but you see, oh my God, it kind of looks like a triangular. So that would say my type of personality is triangular. What do they say about us? And what do they say about our students? What do they say? A person who is a square type of personality is usually strict. It's like, hey, that's what I tell you. That's the rule. This is the curriculum. This is the lesson plan. Whatever you do apart from that, that's not accepted. That would be a square person. Always on time, always having discipline, always like, hey, these are my rules and you have to obey them. This is the rule that I have. But how is it shaped? It shouldn't be like that, because that's not the thing that I was thinking. So this is a square type of personality. What do we do with this if we have students with a square type of personality? We want to make sure that we have discipline. If you have a student with a square type of personality, you want to be exactly on time because they're very strict about it. Triangular. These are the people who always live in the future. They're always worried about the future. Past doesn't mean anything to them. There's no past. Past is gone. Past is past for them. They always live in the future. They want to be in the future. They want to enjoy the future. They're planning all the time, and they're very competitive. Like, if there's an activity in the class, they do everything to be the best. Who are S? S type of personality is like, woo, the party guys. People who are always in favor of going to parties, talking about having fun. What's happening tonight? Where can we go? What can we drink? What can we watch? Movies, series, Netflix people. People who are living in the moment and their challenge is that they cannot be very serious about almost anything in their life. Circular type of personality, people who have many friends. I can imagine Claudia is a circular type, has a circular type of personality, because I can imagine, just correct me if I'm wrong, Claudia, you have like many friends all around the world, maybe 2,000, 3,000 friends. I can imagine.
Yes, of course, my friend.
That's true. So similar type of personality, they have many friends all around the world. They easily communicate with others. They are not shy people. They are successful in this aspect. They easily make new friends. They make very good friends too, because they are very flexible with a lot of friends. And the last type, rectangular. Who has watched, I want to see some thumbs up or some reaction. Who has watched Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones, the series. Game of Thrones. Have you watched it? You have watched it? Nobody? If you have, just show me a reaction in the chat box. Game of Thrones. You can show a reaction too. If you have watched Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen, she has still, if you want to watch it, a rectangular type of personality. I am the best. I am the queen or the king. And I don't drink coffee with like anyone who comes my way and suggests me, hey, let's drink coffee. No. I have my own special kind of coffee, my own special kind of place. And these are the people who do not make friends with anyone. Like if someone comes to them and starts talking to them, they wouldn't accept that person as a friend easily. It would be very difficult for them. They want to rule. They are the best type of personality in this regard. Their challenge is that they consider others as like, I don't think I can talk to these kind of people here. So that would be their challenge. What do we do now? How does it benefit us knowing this? Understanding how to deal with the students. If we have square type of students, we want to make sure that everything is disciplined. We want to make sure that everything is pre-planned. If we have a triangular type of personality as students, we want to make sure that we create competition in the class. They compete. If we have circular or rectangular, we want to pay attention to their type of personalities. Now, they come from our neurotic system. This is the way, these are the shapes of our neurons in the mind. Now, one good question you might ask, and this is completely natural to ask this question, but I think I'm like all of them. I am square sometimes. I am a triangular sometimes. Sometimes I am S. Sometimes I go out with my friends. Yes, that's true, my friend. That's absolutely true. The real trick is this happens when you are in a delicate situation. Let's say you are in a situation where you have to decide about something. You have to be like, okay, this is a tough decision and I have to make a decision. What do I do? I'm a little bit anxious. So one of those shapes will show itself as a dominant one. Or you are in a situation where you are insulted. Somebody insults you in the class or tells you something that you want to hear, or tells you, hey, you know what? You're from this country and you don't have to talk in this class. So you feel a little bit offended. So one of those types, the one that is dominant for you, will show itself more. The characteristic that you have the most will show itself in that specific situation. Going to the next part, satisfaction, happiness. There is a world of difference between satisfaction and happiness. Oh, come on, satisfaction is happiness. If you're satisfied, you're happy. Let's write it in the chat box. What's the difference between satisfaction and happiness? In the chat box, please. And Claudia, can read the comments, that's going to be really fantastic.
Yes, don't worry, Mansoor. Let's give it to them a few minutes in order to answer that question. Okay, can you repeat that question, please, Mansoor? Because some people has entered recently.
Of course. What is the
Okay.
difference between satisfaction and happiness? What's the difference between satisfaction and happiness? What is the difference? Both of them are temporary moments, Rosanna says. Thank you, Rosanna. Just write in the chat box, feel comfortable, write your comment in the chat box. I would love to read your comment. I think satisfaction involves a short period of time. When you are satisfied, I guess it will long more than happiness. All right, interesting, Nas. More comments in the chat. Whatever that comes to your mind, whatever that comes to your mind. Don't worry about judgments. There is no judgments here. Whatever that comes to your mind. Happiness is an emotion. Interesting. All right. Write your comments in the chat box. What is the difference between satisfaction and happiness? I want to connect it to our whole workshop or webinar tonight. I want to connect it to the section.
Yes. My friend, can I read some of the comments, please?
Of course. I'm sorry. Yes, of course.
Okay. Manuela, don't worry. Manuela Sandoval mentioned satisfaction is when you accomplish something and happiness is an emotion. Catherine Canchari mentioned, I think that satisfaction is a strong positive feeling. Then we have a nursing, right, who mentioned when you are satisfied, I guess it will long more than happiness. Maribel Silvera mentioned happiness is an emotion. Sonia mentioned, for me, satisfaction is a goal that I reach and happiness is a moment that I receive for someone. Elizabeth, oh, my dear Ellie, thank you so much for being here. Mentioned, I am happy for listening to you. They are emotion. Betty mentioned happiness is an emotion. Catherine Canchari, thank you so much to be here too. I think that satisfaction is a strong positive feeling. Janet Vallejo mentioned, I think that satisfaction are the moments you share with other people, and happiness is a good moment. Thank you so much to everyone to participate. We really appreciate that.
That's amazing. Roxana says satisfaction is when I feel pleasure and obtain my wishes, expectations. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, before we talk about that, I want everybody to prepare a piece of paper. A piece of paper, just a piece of paper with a pen. A sheet of paper, notebook, a paper, whatever you can find around you. Find a piece of paper. And after watching this video, we have a cool activity to do together. And the correct answer is, I will tell the correct answer, Sonia. I will tell the answer that comes to my mind that is based on NLP. And after watching this video, let's watch this video, everyone. Gratitude. Exactly. The word is gratitude. In that piece of paper, I want you to write grateful or gratitude on the top. I'm going to write it in the chat box. I am happy and grateful now that, and then ... Write this, it's in the chat box. Write this on that piece of paper on the top, and then come up with 5 things, only 5 things that you can be grateful for. It can be if you have hair. It can be if you are healthy. It can be if you have eyes to see this webinar. It can be if you have ears to hear. It can be if you have Wi-Fi at home to be connected to this webinar. It can be if you have mom. I'm grateful. I am so happy and grateful now that I have a lovely family. just come up with 5 ideas, 5 things, and show me a reaction like this. I'm gonna show a reaction like this, one of those reactions in the chat box, to make sure, for me to make sure that you guys are writing. Show me a reaction, one of these reactions. Or do you want to show this reaction, or this one, or this one? Do you love this activity? Or maybe, ooh, that's different. I'm surprised, but I like it. Show me a reaction. Thank you, Janet. Thank you. Show me a reaction. Show me a reaction so that I can understand that you guys are writing. Write just 5 things. Thank you, Sonia. Thank you, Nas. Thank you, Fabiana. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Edith. Edith. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy when I teach. We can read some of the comments. Claudia, do you want to read the comments?
Yes, of course, don't worry. Yes, okay, so let's start with this part. Miss Vanessa mentioned, I am happy when I teach English and my students understand and learn. Oh, that's a really nice comment.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's amazing.
And then we have, yes, Sonny's mentioned, thanks for the answer. Thank you, Sonia, don't worry. Rosanita mentioned, I'm happy when I meet new people. That's great. Sonia mentioned, for a new day with my family. Of course, Sonia, yes. That's something really, right, really important nowadays. Of course, when I travel, yes, we want to travel nowadays, but it's impossible, right? Yes, so they are the comments in this case. When I visit museums, that's great too.
That's amazing.
Right?
That's amazing.
I'm happy when my students smile in my class. Oh, yes, that is a very important gesture, right? When they smile, they express something that they really feel. I'm happy when I go back home so good. Chris mentioned, because everything is going on well. Yes, Rosana mentioned, when I listen to 80s music, of course, my favorite kind of, yes, the Police. When I support my students. Guillermo mentioned, thank you, Guillermo, to everyone. Thank you so much. We appreciate your help. Thank you so much for the inbox. When I spend time with my family, of course. Miriam, my dear Miriam, I am very happy and grateful when I wake up every morning and I can share with my family and meet new people. Thank you so much. We are really glad to have you in Miss Clau Rivera. Thank you, Miriam. Rosana mentioned, when I do volunteering, yes, of course, that is really great. Maribel mentioned, yes, 80s too, of course. When I see my son finish his homework, mentioned Manuela. That's really good. I'm grateful every day because I am here in this world and I have the opportunity to love everyone. Very, really important, Vanessa. That's really nice words. Okay. Then we have Sonia, Bob, George, awesome. Mention. Yes, they are expressing. Elizabeth, I am happy because I have my family and my students very well. That's really well. Christmas makes me feel happy. Yes, of course, Christmas is coming, right? I'm happy when I go to shopping. Me too. Jenny, me too. I'm happy when I listen to music, of course. When I learn the Bible. Yes. When I eat new recipes. Thank you, Rosanna. When I help to people. Yes. Thank you so much for your comments. We really appreciate that because you participate, you enjoy this webinar. Thank you so much. Mansour Mansouri help us with this part, and I am really glad that you are here because Miss Clau Rivera and Mansour Mansouri, who is our international guest, are here to contribute with English, right? Thank you so much. So that's all yours.
Thanks. So satisfaction, happiness, what would be the difference? For me, based on what I have studied so far, satisfaction and happiness are 2 poles apart. Happiness is rooted in just what you did in the comments right now. You wrote about the things that you can be grateful for right now. What am I grateful? I'm grateful for the fact that I have this book. I'm grateful for the fact that I have this book and I study this book. I'm grateful for the fact that there's internet connection in my house. That would be connected to happiness. I translate it as happiness. Things that I have and I can be grateful for. Satisfaction for me would be a ceiling on my head. Satisfaction actually for me is negative. Why? Oh my God, what are you talking about? Satisfaction for me is like, don't do more. That's enough. Don't study more. That's enough. Don't have more. That's enough. Don't be more. That's enough. You should be satisfied with what you have. You have a house. You should be satisfied with that. Satisfied? No. Happy? Yes. Satisfied? No. To do more, to read another book, to go to another webinar, to study another, to go to another course, to watch another video on YouTube to learn, to listen to another podcast, to do more. So that would be for me dissatisfaction. Dissatisfaction is actually a creative state. It's something that gives me more. It makes me have more, do more, be more every single day. Am I doing something different than yesterday? Yes, I am doing something different than what I was doing yesterday. Does that make me happy? Absolutely. Does that make me satisfied? No. Why? Because I want to do better tomorrow. I want to do more tomorrow. Now, you watch this video, I try to share this video with you. That's where you can find me on Instagram. If you are interested, I create content on Instagram related to body language, NLP, communication skills, negotiation techniques. What do you mean negotiation techniques? You can take a look at some of the videos there that I create about if body language can be controlled, if how to provide and develop leadership attitude, different topics. And this is my LinkedIn. If you guys are using LinkedIn, that's my number. You can take a picture of it. You can text me whenever you want. That's the Instagram. You can contact me. Please feel free to contact me if you have any questions, if there's something that is in your mind and it's still a big question and it's like, I never understood that. You can contact me. I would be absolutely more than happy to be of help. And lie to me. If you are into series, if you want to watch series related to body language, this is #1 series that I can share with you that is related, directly related to body language analysis, analyzing criminals or other people from the aspect of body language. And this is my favorite book. After all these books that I mentioned, if you want to take a screenshot of these books, please go ahead and take a screenshot. This is the book that is my favorite, and I call this The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Everything in my life actually started from here. For the final activity of our webinar, I want to kindly ask you to click on a link that I will share with you, to go to this link and write the answer to this question. What was the most interesting thing that you learned in this webinar? The link is in the chat box. There's a link in the chat box. Please click on it. There is a link in the chat box. Or go to nearpod.com and then enter this code, nearpod.com. And then the code, this is going to be the code on the screen, DEUA9. Go to nearpod.com. This is the code. And then write the answer on this collaborative board. One person is here. Thank you. Thank you. Mirza is here. Nas is here. Estefania is here. Amazing, amazing. Write the answer to this question. What was the most interesting thing in this workshop for you that you learned? What was the most interesting thing that you learned in this workshop, in this webinar? Once again, I'm gonna share the link with you guys once again in the chat box so that you can easily get to this section. The link in the chat box, or go to nearpod.com and then click on this code. What was the most interesting thing that you learned in this webinar, in this workshop, webinar, in this meeting, friendly meeting? What was the most interesting thing that you learned in this workshop? Nas just confirmed that if you wrote your opinion in the chat box with if you can raise your hand or show me a reaction that I can see that you got here. You can write it in the chat box too. If you cannot get to this website, you can write in the chat box too. We have something in the chat box, how to communicate with body language. Thank you, Manuela. I can't write anything. Chris says, I can't write anything. Let's see why. Nas, can you confirm in the chat box if you can write here on this board? Likes, students.
Yes, I think it's possible.
It is? Really? Okay, just write, let's see what Nas says. Nas, can you confirm if you can write or someone can confirm? Okay, hopefully you guys can. Hopefully we can do this activity successfully. Hide the students' names, show students' names. Okay, oops, we have something here. All right. I'd loved to know about the types of personality. And then you can like the comments. You can like the one that you like. Mirza, Claudia, would you like to read them?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Elizabeth mentioned in this case, the most interesting thing was the activities. Elizabeth Cabrera mentioned, we must teach with a good attitude, being positive for engaging our students. Sonia mentioned, and I also believe that our voice is an important body, okay?
Okay.
Body language, we can use the correct words and use the incorrect movements.
Very nice.
Right? The picture of an eye expression. Here I am. So yes, let's continue. Give confidence to students by expressing ourselves by gestures, by body language.
Very nice.
Yes.
The importance of gestures. Oh, we have some comments in the chat box too. Oh, you read them, right?
Yes, right. Oh, give them to them just. Oh my.
Okay. I'm gonna read some of the comments. Guys, go ahead and like the one that you like. Give it a like. Give the comment. Give one comment that you like. Give it a like. Give one like to that comment. Guillermo says the most important thing is identifying gestures and feel the happiness. Very good. Nas says if we go extreme in any area of our life, it can be more destructive than constructive, such as happiness, love. Exactly. We want to keep the balance. Exactly. Very nice. Marlene says the shapes and personalities. Very good. Very good. Thank you. I'm very happy you guys liked it. Very nice. I'm very happy that you guys liked it. I vote for Mirtha. I learned about personality types. Thanks a lot. Sure, Chris. Thank you. I'm very happy that you guys liked it. Thank you so much, guys. It was an absolute pleasure for me. Thank you so much, Claudia. Thank you, guys. Lovely people from Lima, Peru. We have people here from Cuenca, from Ecuador, from Bolivia, my friend from La Paz, she was here, from Quito. Thank you so much. Just write something in the comment if you want, show a reaction. Thank you so much. Or write where you are coming from in the comment, where you came from. Thank you so much. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you so much for this amazing participation. Claudia, would you like to say something? Lima, Peru.
Yes, thank you so much. In this case, first of all, to our international guests, in this case, thank you so much, Monsur, for your contribution to English teachers, especially with our Peruvian English teachers and to our dear students who are going to be English teachers. I'm sorry for that. I know what happened at the beginning, but don't worry. We just start with this part and we have a really interesting webinar. We really appreciate that. Mansoor Mansouri was really great. We learned a lot. I was taking notes of all, right? Because it was really amazing. I like your, thank you, Elizabeth. I love your Instagram, right? Because you have a lot of videos, you share the videos with me, and that was a pleasure for me to learn more about that because it's really important nowadays, right? It's really important. So thank you so much. I think that everyone thinks the same as me. They appreciate in this case your contribution to English teaching. And yes, of course, we want to say thank you to all the teachers who are here, to all the students who take your time in order to still continue learning more, right? So something that I want to mention is that please don't forget that we're going to have this Friday 2 webinars. Okay, don't worry because we're going to control security as in this case. Don't worry, don't forget that. Okay, we're going to have Christmas is coming, right? Christmas is coming. So, yes, we just have to be that. Thank you so much for your participation. Okay, thank you everyone. Okay, thank you Mansoor Mansouri, of course, for this help. Thank you to Asesoría Uno friends who are here, to Peru Tech members who always are here. Thank you so much. Thank you, Julito. Thank you, everyone. I'm sorry if I talk a lot, okay, but I really appreciate that you learn new things, right? Thank you, everyone, for being here. Shirley, Julito, my
Thank you, Miss
students.
Claudia, so much. Thank you for the
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Okay, we really appreciate.
Claudita,
Tell
una
me.
pregunta, a question. Did Mr. Mansoor Mansouri left his email? Because I have 2 questions for him, but maybe I can write an email.
Yes. You can have the maybe you can ask the question here because
Yeah?
I think that he has
Okay.
2
Please,
minutes.
Mr. Mansouri, thanks a lot for your presentation. It was really, really interesting. And I have 2 questions, you know. Do you think gestures and postures are connected to personality?
That's a very good question. Absolutely. The answer is yes. Posture,
Okay.
and postures are rooted in our habits. The way we learned to sit or stand up or walk. Gestures are more, they're easier to control. Are they rooted in our personality? Absolutely. So if I, as a person, repeatedly, if I'm in the habit of pointing at my, let's just an example, pointing at my audience, like you, little by little, my personality is affected too. So the words I choose will be affected by this finger. The behavior that I have will be affected by this finger. My flexibility will be affected by this finger, little by little. We learned something very important, that the body language is released and then it goes back to our body. So it's a two-way highway. It's not just I release it out of my body and then, okay, that's it, fine. I'll be fine. No, I release it and then it goes back to my body. It's like throwing dust in the sky if it's negative. So the dust comes back to my own eyes. So I am affected by the negativity. Are they rooted in our personality? Absolutely yes. Can we take control of them? Absolutely yes. We can change our gestures. We can even change our posture. We can change our facial expressions. We can change our eye contact too, the position and the direction that we look at. They're all changeable.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
And you know, as this virtual presentations that we are having most of the time from all over the world, and then to our students, some presentations became boring when the lecturer doesn't move,
Exactly.
doesn't raise his or her hand or smile or shake the head, you know?
Yeah, That is extremely important, and I base it on engagement. I believe engagement should be done from the beginning to the end of the class, online class. And I never call it a presentation, I call it interactive workshop or class, where everybody interacts, everybody talks to everybody, everybody participates. The person who is behind this camera, in this case, I am the way I was talking to you, I always consider my audience as human beings behind a camera, not as robots or little boxes that I have to tell them to do things or they have to listen to me. No, they have to engage back. And our ability as teachers to get more engagement is extremely effective in the results that we get in online classes. Thank you so much. Thank you, Rosanna, for your question. Thank you, Claudia. It was lovely to be with you guys, most of you from Lima, Peru. Hopefully we can meet each other soon. Have a fantastic night. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas and the best wishes for you. Bye. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There
Mr.
were
Massage.
people from Piura,
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We hope to see you
Bye,
on
Miss
Friday.
Laura.
Sure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for
Thank
the
you, Claudia.
invitation. Thank you for this webinar. God bless
Thank you,
you.
everyone. Thank
you.
you. Christmas is
Thank you very
coming,
much.
so please don't forget to register because this Friday we're going to have a raffle from Haggis, right? In this webinar related to music. So please go to Miss Clau Rivera because Haggis is trying to help us in that way, right? To help the teachers to contribute with education in a simple way, I know, but they try to help us with this webinar, right? So please try to register to my page. We are going to talk about music for children in this case. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Have a nice
Thank you
day.
so much,
Thank you
Miss
for
Claudia.
Thank you for your participation.
Thank you, Miss
Bye-bye.
Claudia. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Saulcito. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Clau. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Carmencita.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye, Carmencita. Christmas is coming. Bye, Chris. Thank you so much. I hope to see you on Friday. Go to Miss Clau. Bye, teachers. Thank you so much to everyone. Okay, we really appreciate that you are here. Yes, this Friday, Carmencita. I hope to see you there singing.
Yes,
Right? Thank you, Smiley. Mi querida Damaris, ¿cómo estás? Un abrazo, Damaris. Bye, bye. Thank you so much. Gracias por todo su apoyo, su ayuda y seguimos creciendo, seguimos creciendo.
Don't worry.